and I always wanted to wonder maybe once I could be in their shoes. But I didn't have any idea, so I was just keep working there, and I learned a lot. As you said, in finance, you start from a short salary, but then you go up quite quickly, and six-figure salary with huge bonus every year. So it's quite difficult. It was quite difficult for me to say, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Pioneers Pathway podcast. Joined as always by my good friend Liam. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you. How about you?
All well, Liam. All well, Liam. So, Liam, as you know, lots of people they tend to travel around during Christmas, December end, and it's quite apt that we have a co-founder on with us today who's in that line of business. So, welcome on, Herve. How are you?
Thank you, Sharia. Thank you, Liam. I'm very good. I'm very good. Super excited to be among you today and to
So,
tell you more about me.
So great. Hervè, do you want to give us a brief, background of both yourself and your business, Keybento?
Yeah, sure. So I can tell you, I'm now the co-founder of home swapping platform for families. And before that, I used to be an investment banker, so worked in BNP and JP Morgan for 7 years, and transitioned last year with my co-founder to found this business. It's called Keybento, and it's for families to swap their homes between each other so that they can go on holidays and not spend rental fees.
So, lots of people, transition from finance to their own entrepreneurship journey. So, what was your motivation behind it?
Yeah, that's there are several motivations. I think three main points. The first one, I've spent 7 years there, and what I was doing was leverage finance, so mainly supporting companies to raise money. So I saw many CEOs of different companies, and I always wanted to wonder maybe once I could be in their shoes. But I didn't have any idea, so I was just keep working there, and I learned a lot. Then I had my partner who had an idea. It was about home swapping, and she started working on it while we were both in part-time job. Oh, well, we were both in our full-time, but working on part-time. And from that, we've started to work together, and we started to see there was a path for us both to work full-time on it. We started having users, we started having people wanting to use our product. So that's what started to trigger the transition. Okay, I can leave my job now, and I should dedicate all of my energy on it. So that's the short story, let's say.
So, everyone knows that finance professionals are very well paid. And it can be quite challenging emotionally going from such a well-paying job to starting your own, venture. Because when you start out your own venture, you're not really, making much money at the start. You essentially go back to square one. So did you face any challenges there? How was that, for you to deal with?
Yeah, it's a big change. As you said, in finance, you start from a short salary, but then you go up quite quickly, and six-figure salary with huge bonus every year. So it's quite difficult. It was quite difficult for me to say, okay, next year, if I'm not working there, maybe I'm not gonna have all of this, and my lifestyle is gonna change. But on the other side, I'm gonna try something I want to do. And so what I said to myself is I have a bit of savings, and my lifestyle has to change a little bit. I cannot go to fancy restaurants or fancy brunches every weekend anymore. I cannot go skiing maybe next year or while I don't have an income. So there was a bit of adjustment, but both me and my partner, who is also my co-founder, we were ready to take this risk, and now we live very well. We are very happy. Instead of going to a restaurant, we cook a lot. So I adapted, but indeed it was not easy. That was also part of the equation when I wonder if I should leave my job or not.
And just a question, sort of your experience in finance, and obviously being in that industry. Do you think that really helped set you up for then your entrepreneurial journey? Or did were there important skills which you think, yes, I'm happy that I went through that time in banking because it's now sort of set me up for what I do now?
Yeah, I always think that investment banking is helped me a lot today with everything that's related to execution. Indeed, it's very important to when we have a business like us, it's early stage. We need to experiment with many different ways to market the company. So execution, it's all about execution. We have the idea, we want to experiment this, now we need to execute. And that's what investment banking really taught me, because in investment banking, what I was doing pretty much executed deals after deals after deals, and we had to deliver for the clients. We had to raise money for clients. So there was a lot of stakes, and that's, I think, from 7 years working there, I know how to go above and beyond every single things that I need to do. So with that regards, and without talking about the more hard skills, that I would say the everything that's related to finance and legal stuff, but really execution, I think that's the main point for me.
And would you say, the grueling life of investment banker, it's notorious in finance, you work long hours, right? So do you think that also helps you adapt better to the life of being a founder?
Yeah, it's different in the sense that as a founder, you need to push yourself alone because there is nobody behind you telling you to do the job. While when in investment banking, that's something you have a client to please. Even though here we have clients, but it's a different dynamic. But definitely, it's being able to work from 8, 9 until 10 and beyond when there are tight, hard deadlines. Because I know, having been there, I know that how it feels going to bed at 2 a.m. just after finishing work. I don't believe this is very healthy. I've done it, and I don't think that's something that I could do on the long term. That's not something sustainable. But working at let's say the sustained pace, not necessarily for long hours, but being very efficient with the time limit that I set to myself. This is something I think I learned from investment banking, and also I learned what not to do. So yes.
And just sort of a follow-up question on that. So you mentioned it being different. So what aspect of it is that your current business is a B2C and when you invest in banking, you're doing B2B. So has that
Yeah.
played, a huge factor in terms of, was that like a key difference, or was that, something that's a minor thing?
Yeah. It's a very good question. Between B2B and B2C, I think at the beginning, I thought that it was a big differences because one obviously is a business and another one is just one individual. But then, as I started to go more in depth and talking more to our customers at Keybento, I started realizing that I am talking to a human. And when I was in investment banking, I was talking to the CEO, I was talking to the CFO of the company I was working for. And here, I'm not talking to the CEO, but I'm talking to one person. So I feel that this is very similar. At the end of the day, they are clients, they are people that we need to serve with the products that whatever we have. In this case, it's exchanging homes. It's a platform where we can exchange homes. So B2B or B2C, in that sense, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, there is an end user.
I just want to focus a bit more on your business, Keybento. So how did that come about? Where did the idea come from?
Yeah, so me and my co-founder Ilona, we used to travel a lot using home swapping with other platforms, and they didn't work that well. It was quite slow, bits outdated. For example, it takes approximately 6 weeks to find an exchange. So my co-founder started to design a product and to say, okay, let's show this to the CEO of that company. And I started looking a bit more into this and said, oh, maybe there is a market for us to be there. And then from that, we evolved and we saw that a lot of families are struggling with finding holiday accommodations that are nice, that are comfortable and affordable as well. So that's how we evolve into, okay, those are the persons who need this product the most.
But sorry, Shai, I just wanted to focus in on just some of the points there. Obviously, there's quite a lot of other sort of similar products. You've got Airbnb. It's not exactly the same, but there are things out there. What do you think makes your system stand out, other than maybe it's a quicker and easier process? Do you sort of have safeguards in place to make sure everything is legitimate in terms of who you're going to stay with? Are there certain sort of things that you really want to differentiate yourself with compared to the other competitors?
Yeah. That's a very good point. The first differentiator is we start with the community. So the people who are with Keybento, there are people who are vetted, there are people who have their own homes on the platform, and it's not someone who doesn't share his home. So that's the first difference. And second difference, it's almost like Airbnb from the beginning, when you had people's real home, actual homes, where they were living and not just renting for commercial purposes. So it's really an exchange more than a commercial transaction. It's people offering their home to another people. And then as a third difference, we are focused on families. On Airbnb, if you look at the listings, you have 75% of the listings are not for families. So that leaves us with a lot of room to be able to grow and to capture demand.
So obviously, as it's been pointed out, naturally when it comes to homes and in tourism especially, we tend to think of Airbnb. So how hard has it been for you to convince potential clients that in fact your product it has a different focus to them? Because actually, when you think of all these things, Airbnb is the first name that springs to everyone's mind.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's I think what we see is the shift of people. People used to love Airbnb. It was affordable. It was, you can find homes anywhere. But what it has lost is because now it tries to compete with hotels, it gives services that are, you know what to expect from, but they lose a bit of authenticity, and it's quite expensive, even more for families. And in certain cities like London, Barcelona, or Paris, it's limited or banned. So that also increased all of the prices of Airbnbs. And what we see from our users, why they want to join Keybento, and when they have joined Keybento, it's because first they find value in the homes versus the price they have to pay. And they feel that this is a community of other people sharing homes between each other. And
So
yeah,
I was just going to ask in terms of that then. So how do you where's the revenue coming in? Do you charge for a membership, or is it per the time period in which people sort of spend in other people's houses?
yeah, it's both. So we have the business is starting with a service fee, for a platform fee that you pay to us, to the platform, because we provide you with the network, the guarantee, and the support, and all of the organization around the exchange. And then to your point on the membership, there is also membership, but this membership allows the members to have reduced platform fees. So the more you travel, the less you pay in terms of service fees.
So it's basically there's a foundational fee you pay to be part of this community, and then it's very much per usage.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to pay to be a member.
Okay.
If you pay the membership, it's to get a reduction in the service fees per
Okay.
night.
Okay.
I just wanted to sort of understand what has been the general growth in the house swapping market, and what are the challenges that you see in the industry?
You see, during COVID, the growth has been exponential. In this market, you've seen almost 2 to 3 times more bookings than previous years. And the real shift is the fact that when people want, they're looking for more affordable ways to travel, and authentic ways also to have a different experience. Yeah, that's
So, you know, what about like tourism in general? Have you seen any trends in what the traveler wanted, 10, 15 years back to what a traveler wants today?
travelers want experience today. I think what's the it's so easy to get on a plane and to travel everywhere in the world. So what really makes the difference is what am I going to remember from that trip? Is it just being in the same Starbucks as I can have in my own country, or is it experiencing something more local, experiencing food, spices that you don't have in your own country? So those are the trends I really see that we are going to in tourism.
So it's more not being a tourist but living as a local.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But surely there's so obviously coming from Madrid, where I know there's big backlash to the to increasing rent because of places becoming holiday lets through
Yeah.
Airbnb and things like that. Do you not get complaints or issues arising from sort of local residents when you have different you're basically giving your property for or swapping your property with someone else. Are there issues there, or is that something you've not really seen?
We haven't really seen that. And I'll tell you why, because the home exchange market is quite different. While on Airbnb, it's more commercial, so you have a turnover of very quick turnover of people coming and leaving and coming and leaving. Here, it's usually when the family goes out for holidays or travel to visit families. So a couple of days during the year. Average is 21 days a family travel during a year. So you have those 21 days who are used where you have someone else coming in, and because it's someone else's place, they respect the neighborhood as if it was theirs. So there is much less reticence to this way of traveling and staying in places than Airbnb.
So, continuing on the topic of challenges, it's a buzzword we use on our channel a lot, AI. So there was a lot of talks a few years back during the pandemic that will AI replace tourism, but evidently that hasn't been the case. What would your thoughts be on that?
That AI will replace tourism?
Yeah, I mean it was a wild theory that people had around 3-4 years back. But what are your thoughts on it?
Oh,
In
I
hindsight, I
didn't know
guess.
about I didn't know about this theory. What was it?
So basically, what people were saying is that because so our last episode was about VR, and people thought that okay, you could buy a VR console and then you could walk around a city. So that was a wild theory people had 3-4 years ago. But in hindsight, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll see anything like that in the future, or do you think it was just something that was completely wild and something in the moment?
Wow, I've never tried VR, but my personal feeling is that it's the what maybe what VR will do is more to be able to travel and also being able to wear those VR headsets so that you can immerse even more yourself in the culture. So maybe let's say you go to Taj Mahal, and in the Taj Mahal, you can wear those headsets, and then you would see maybe the Taj Mahal 50 years ago, and you can almost experience as if you go back in time, rather than just staying in your sofa and putting those glasses and travel around the world without really feeling the stuff. So I believe it's more the traveling, people will keep traveling, and they will use the objects and the digital technology that are available to even more increase the experiences.
So another thing I sort of wanted to ask is, so obviously we established recently today, travelers want to live like a local. But what do you expect to see in the next 5-10 years in the general travel industry?
Yeah, I think that's in the 5 to 10 years, I think people will swap home all around the world and use Keybento. That's what I firmly believe. Not all around the world, because I think there are still cultures where it's difficult to have someone that you don't know, or well, even someone that you know in your sacred house. So I think there are still barriers to break there. To come back to your question, I think that it's pretty much having this full experience, maybe even more than local, it's being able to maybe to live, to feel the interconnection between two cities and not the cultures. Yeah, I think
And
that's
you at Keybento, how are you gonna, adapt to these changes? Because the main thing for a business is in a changing environment is you have to be able to adapt. So, what are your thoughts? How do you think it'll be for you going forward?
And sorry, just to add on to that question, what do you think your main competition is going to be like in the long term? And how in adapting will you sort of differentiate between that?
mm, differentiate the competition might be people not traveling. If there is a crisis, for instance, like people reducing on their expenses budget to travel. Even though I said people will keep traveling, there is still the main challenge for us is for people to travel and wanting to go explore the world. If people don't want to do that, they don't treat their house, they don't book any accommodation. So that's pretty much making sure that there is no geopolitical risk. Um, the as you were saying, some cities are banning Airbnbs. Make sure that as we grow, the regulation doesn't come forward, so doesn't put us in the same in the same areas, in same field as Airbnb. So those I think will be the challenges as we scale.
Great. So what I want to do now is we have a rapid fire section which we call Investors Call. So I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. I'm just going to get you to expand on a few here and there.
Yeah.
Okay. So one entrepreneur you look up to and why?
Sorry.
One entrepreneur you look up to and why?
One entrepreneur I look up to and why, I would say um, Gary Vaynerchuk. Do you know him?
No.
Okay. Gary Vaynerchuk is the CEO of VaynerMedia. It's a media company specializing in social media brand. And I admire him because he started with his dad's business, posting regular videos. And for 1 year and a half, he hadn't any views. And this was 20 years ago. And now he has 12 million followers. He has his company. And his advice is to always post on social media because those are where the audiences are. And I just love the way he talks and teach things for other entrepreneurs.
And just sorry, just thinking about social media and marketing. Is that how Keybento sort of focuses on spreading the message? Do you have sort of certain avenues for marketing, social media, or is it just word of mouth?
It's a mixture of both. We use social media a lot recently. We've started with that, and we saw an increase in traffic, in websites, in signups, and increase in visibility. So I think that's not something we can't go without. And word of mouth is also very important. That's 50% of our members came from word of mouth. So now we want to go even more aggressively and put in place a referral program so that everyone can participate into our growth and have a financial incentive as well. So those are the two areas of growth for us.
And what's one skill from your finance career you use every day as an entrepreneur?
Making sure that what we're doing is financially viable. So either we have still runaway, are we okay to we have a clear budget. How much do we want to spend in marketing? How much do we want to spend in hiring a developer? So I think always have in mind the numbers for the business. That's what I have kept.
And if you could swap homes with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
Oh, it would be in Cape Town to go surfing because I love surfing.
Okay. And your favorite travel hack for a house swapper?
Very travel hack for house swapper is usually in all of our homes people have books and books in their bookshelves. So just go and look at the books so that you get a sense of who is that person and what they read, and then you just get so much inspiration from that.
And what's one emerging travel trend that you're personally excited about?
What's what?
One emerging travel trend that you're personally excited about?
Emerging travel trends. Sorry, I didn't get the question.
So, like any trends in travel that what that particularly excites you?
Oh, okay. I think that's the possibility to live like a local.
Okay, great, Hervé. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Can you
Okay.
tell our guests where they can find out more about you and Keybento?
Yeah, they can find me on LinkedIn. My name is Herve, Hervey, and I'm also on Instagram, so under Keybento, Keybento /travel. And yeah, very happy to have been here with you. So,
And I was just going to say, I'm sure if anyone's interested in sharing their house or swapping houses, they could sign up online on the website and find out more details as well. Maybe we've converted some new people to the to a new travel experience trend.
that would be lovely. And we are about to launch a new website, so that's perfect timing.
Perfect.
Great. Good luck for that. Thank you so much.